1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello Atul, welcome to Ahmedabad and thank you so much for joining us on campus today. We recently finished a case on Razorpay and that makes this meeting and this conversation all the more exciting for us. So, how is it to be back on the campus?
It's always a pleasure to be back on campus. I just remember my days very recently, just 15 years ago. It's good to be back at the campus. It's very good vibes and good. And I personally also love going back to the campus and meeting fresh folks. I won't call young, I'm not old. So always it's good. It's a good learning experience. Also, you get to learn new perspectives and you get to see how the things are moving. And you folks are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. So if I can help you in whatever way I can, it's a pleasure.
Hopefully, yes, and thank you so much. What do you miss about the IIMA the most? What do you think is the USP of IIMA, the culture here, the vibe, the learning?
One thing I really missed about IIMA, if you ask me honestly, I miss one is the intense amount of learning that we used to have almost every hour, every minute, every day, every case, every class had a new perspective. You learned something new. So much of learning you did in those 2 years. I still, anybody who's coming to IIMA, I just tell them learn as much as you can. The faculty and your peer group, God level, literally God level. And that's what I miss. On a lighter side, what I miss is not sleeping. So I am so happy that I didn't sleep too much in those 2 years. So that's and I also miss a lot of those group meetings and those last minute hustles and submissions 11:59 and 23:59 and 59 and those back runs. Miss everything else.
Definitely, and the learning never stops.
The learning never stops.
That's why all those sleepless nights were totally worth it. I agree with you.
Yes.
Tell us, Atul, how did the decision to move to FinTech sector happen, and how is FinTech different? Sales for FinTech sector different from all other sectors?
Okay, so I was in consulting. I started my career in consulting post IIMA, 8 years in consulting, and then the decision to FinTech was actually I went to pitch, consulting business to a friend of mine, Mr Atul Mehta, founder of PayU, IIMA alum, and then there we got into consulting and I moved into FinTech, and from there went to MobiKwik, then joined Razorpay. So Razorpay, last 5 years, I can't even call it a dream come true. I could not have even dreamt this much, seriously. I would have settled for half this much any day. So the folks I'm working with, starting the founders called Parisha Tyagi, the people I'm working with in my team. These names might not ring a bell with you, but these are like exceptionally talented folks. These are like mind-boggling talent and mind-boggling, openness we have there. When you talk of founding team folks like Sagar, Ayush, etc. These are like, you can't even think that, this level of talented and, energetic people exist ever on this planet. The ones I'm working with right now. So I find myself very fortunate and I'm lucky to be working with them.
You call it a dream come true, more than a dream. This indeed is quite an achievement. But how does it feel to be at the helm of one of the leading FinTech companies of the country, to be at the helm of sales for that company? Is it exciting? Is it scary? What is that feeling?
It's both. It's exciting and scary. It's scary as well. It's exciting as you have a new challenge almost every other day, if not every hour. So there's something new coming up. We started off with one product line. Today we have some 5-7 different product lines. We started off with one BU. We have 3 BUs today. I have the 121st Razor. We are 2700 today. In terms of top line, we've grown more than 100x. In terms of bottom line, investment, more 45x. So it's been crazy. So, and this scale of expansion, now we are expanding internationally also. We've also diversified a lot into India. I never think that I'm the helm or leading this. I'm just a part of this, and I'm one of those people who are contributing to this. I told you the names of the mind-boggling folks that are with me, who do all the things. I just sell something.
And you mentioned the challenges that you face each day, and of course, I can't even begin to imagine. What is the most challenging part of being in not just the sales but in the fintech sector, and how do you keep innovating or evolving to stay relevant, stay on top of your game?
So innovation is a key. Innovation is a core mantra. If you may call it, it's our DNA. As I tell always, there are payment companies using technology. We are a technology company which is into payments or money movement. So any innovation that's happened in India in the last 7-8 years, we've been the first ones to do. We might be the joint first also. We are not the only ones. There are other people innovating. But we feel that this innovation and this extremely cutting edge products that we have gives us an unfair advantage, and that's what we do. We just capture.
And speaking of products, where do you think the fintech sector is moving now, and how do you think the company will diversify further?
We are already, as I told you, start up with one product line of incoming payments. We look into disbursements, we look into lending facilitation, and we are also doing a lot of things into money movement like PayU, like expense management, like payments, corporate credit card. So we are just trying to be the ERP of fintech, where we solve every problem, each and every problem that you have in money movement. We want to be the solution under one roof, and that's what we plan to expand into internationally also. And that actually takes a lot of innovation, because if you are building products which are across the gamut of the money movement stuff.
Yeah, and with having products that span across so many sectors and so many industries, there is so much of overlap. There also comes regulations into the picture. What would you say about the regulations in the
We actually welcome the regulation and the tight regulatory framework that in India. And as I was talking to someone only last week, that we are perhaps the most developed fintech globally right now in terms of regulation, in terms of the infrastructure development that we have. The two-factor authentication was the first one. A lot of regulations with recent PGP guidelines, of which we are the first ones to be awarded a license. That actually speaks volumes of how our policy team and our risk team is always up to the mark, right? When we submitted our application, we were the first ones to do something. So we work closely with the authorities, also work closely with the RBI and the other authorities. So we do welcome all these rules, and we actually feel it should be regulated, because it's actually people's money which is in our hands.
Yeah. And among our batch, we have a batch of 140 people who comes from different sectors, and the average work experience is around 6 to 7 years. But there are many people who want to pivot into fintech or sales. So, what should be their area of focus to maybe upgrade their skills, or do you want to warn them about any bitter pills they may have to swallow?
Read more, follow the development that are happening, interact more with the industry folks, and just try to figure out what problem you're solving. There are multiple problems right now, and as I always say, a big party should be named. It's not even touch the tip of the iceberg. So out of $35 trillion, we are currently seeing a $5 trillion digital. $30 trillion is still outside digital. Look at that. Don't enter into a price game or a rat race, because if you are just fighting within the small universe that you are in, you lose it. So so this is the case that you read is actually a second case on Razorpay that's created. The first case was written by Parisha Tyagi, and that conversation actually started when I was here for my 10-year reunion. And the genesis for that one, Sarala asked me, who's your biggest competition? I said, cash.
Which cash? The one we study about, or the real actual cash that starts with the C?
No, the real.
Okay.
The real cash, the currency.
Yeah.
That's my competition. I want to. We should not be printing these many notes that we are printing.
Yeah.
Okay. it's just a trust that they're transferring from one person to the other. It doesn't mean basically also why do we need to pay so much of paper and so much of money into printing money? So that is that. So my advice to anybody entering into the sector or venturing out into the sector is first figure out what problem you are trying to solve. Figure out what's exactly the solution you are offering. So as I say, it's all about a PPT, plan, perseverance and team. So plan very carefully and diligently. Be ready for the long haul. Nothing comes easy, and have a good team. You can't do that.
You in a way answered the next question I was going to ask. You said your biggest competitor is cash. My question was gonna be, how have you managed to be on top of the industry and to have achieved so much as a company in such a short span of time when you had leading players like Paytm and other fintech fintech players in the market? So what is that secret mantra you would say Razorpay can pass on to the future leaders?
It's all about the thought process. As I told you, our tech DNA and this thing that cash is my biggest competition and we want to do away with offline. So we are not here to destroy any other company that's in that space. Okay, they may think they are our competition, we don't think that. These are our friends actually. So all of us working for the same goal.
Speaking of cash, I have two questions. First of them is, so you don't believe that the industry, the fintech industry has come to a saturation? I think you said there's a lot of scope.
It's not even started with our situation.
Okay, you think there's a lot of room for...
I said it's party delivery.
Yes. And the other one is after, demonetization and the pandemic, there was a lot of shift towards digital payments, but there has been a lot of buzz around how people might be moving back to...
Demon and pandemic are two different things.
I know, yeah.
I'll take on this. Demon was a come and go phenomenon. Demon came, it went. Very few people were impacted by demon. Like I personally was not impacted by demon. So, and it was a localized sort of a phenomenon. Pandemic, unfortunately, has been a very long-lasting thing. Everybody has been impacted in some shape and form. And at least for our generation, the next generation will never forget this. As I always say, enlightenment fintech is whole person. So we have benefited from it. Okay? And people who had earlier never even thought of digital, they also want to be digital because they don't want to touch anything. And somehow it taught people that things can be done digitally also. We sat at home for 1.5 years. We did miss out on a lot of things, but a lot of things which have been done. And this digital, so COVID is a phenomenon. It's not an event. Demon was an event.
So the world is not moving back to cash.
I don't want it. There's no valid reason.
Yeah. For that.
And also, a lot of people think cash is free. That you take 100 rupees, you get 100 rupees. Cash is not. Cash handling cost is 4 to 5%. Think of the money that you lose till the time you do not deposit that money into the bank. The interest income you lose. The exact change problem, the toffees and the chocolates that we get. The 97 rupees ka bill aaya, 3 rupees ki chocolate will get. You don't know what to do, eat it. That's wastage. 1004 rupees ka bill aaya, 1000 rupees bhi aur chale gaye. Shopkeeper won't ask you. He's lost money. Counterfeit currency. Biggest problem. Lost money. You can't lose digital money, you can lose currency notes. So, cash handling cost is 4 to 5%, these are less than 2%. So, why do you want to do that?
That's an interesting idea. I want to keep asking you a lot more questions, but in the interest of time, just my last question. How has IIMA brand helped you, if at all, and how does it still keep helping you in ways? Not just the brand, the learning, the experience, everything about IIMA.
This is like, there are 2-3 things that I tell people when they ask me. One, I still remember when I was 5, when I got admission for this place, and the first day I came, and second or third day, there was some session going on with our tuchas. You know tuchas? Tucha second year, tucha first year. PGPX doesn't have it.
Yeah.
PGPs have it.
We are all tuchas.
We are all tuchas. So tuchas, they told me, I don't remember someone from my department said, the one thing was, from today, when you step out, you will be taken very, very seriously. Because the time you tell them that I am from IIMB, that's seriously. The other thing which I tell is, if you meet someone from IIMB the first 40 seconds, how will you best he's from IIMB? Yeah. You will tell himself. You don't need to do anything. And it's because this place teaches you so much. It's because the drills that you go through, what I was telling earlier, also what I miss about this place, the learning. And even the industry outside knows. So today when I am interviewing someone and I know this person is from IIMB, I know this person is also same rigor and same learnings that I have. So suddenly the respect goes up. And the respect is not because of nothing, it's because you actually learned. So I feel that getting into this place is a big thing, but that's nothing. I mean, okay. That's more I remember one of our professors telling us that only difference between people who came in and didn't come in was 2 or 3 questions you marked C and they marked B, that's it. That's CAT. Okay. But once you come in, the learnings that you do under 2 years that you spend here with the peer group and the faculty, that's like crazy.
So we at
I owe a lot to this brand. I still wear that t-shirt branded for life. I was wearing it yesterday in fact. At the airport, someone stopped me. He said, which year? I said, 07. He said, which Tom? 14. I said, you. 95, Tom 13.
Oh.
And this was partner and main.
We all have definitely been branded for life, and we are all very proud of it. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Atul.
My pleasure.
Thank you.